Hey everyone, how is it going? Welcome to Bistégs TV, your go-to channel for mouthwatering recipes that are easy to make and impossible to resist. Today we've got something incredibly special for you, an unforgettable dish that combines two of my absolute favorite things, hearty ground pork and perfectly boiled eggs. But that's not all. We're going to add a colorful medley of vegetables, juicy hot dogs, and a sauce so rich and flavorful you'll be licking your plate clean. Imagine a dish where every bite is a burst of flavor, where the savory richness of ground pork meets the satisfying bite of tender boiled eggs, all wrapped up in a delicious, slightly sweet tomato sauce. It's the perfect comfort food, whether you're cooking for yourself or looking to impress your family and friends. But here's the best part. You can make this dish with just a few simple ingredients, most of which you probably already have in your kitchen. Today, we're using boiled eggs, ground pork, cooking oil, garlic, onions, ground pepper, fish sauce, green peas, corn, carrots, hot dog slices, half a glass of water, tomato sauce, a pork cube, bell pepper, and just a touch of sugar to bring it all together. We are also going to reveal all the little tips and tricks that will take it from ordinary to extraordinary. So stick around, let's get started, shall we? Now, the first step to creating our flavor-packed dish is heating up some oil in a pan. We want the oil to be nice and hot before we add our garlic. Why? Because garlic is the foundation of flavor in this dish. When it hits the hot oil, it releases all those wonderful aromas and oils that infuse every bite with deliciousness. Next, we're adding our onions. Onions add sweetness, depth, and a bit of texture to our dish. As they cook, they become soft and sweet, which balances out the savory notes of the garlic and pork. Stir those onions into the garlic and let them cook down until they're soft and translucent. All right, food lovers, this is where the magic truly begins. We're about to introduce our main ingredient, ground pork. If you've never cooked with ground pork before, prepare to be amazed. This humble ingredient has the power to transform into something spectacular when treated right. And today, we're going to coax every bit of flavor out of it. Let's get started. First things first, grab that bowl of ground pork and hold it for a second. Take a moment to appreciate the quality of the meat. It's rich, it's tender, and it's going to be the foundation of our dish. When you add it to the pan, do it slowly and evenly, making sure that the pork spreads out across the surface of the pan. This helps ensure even cooking, which is crucial for achieving that perfect golden brown finish we're aiming for. As soon as the pork hits the pan, you'll hear that unmistakable sizzle. That sound is music to a cook's ears because it means the pork is starting to sear, locking in its juices and beginning to develop those deep, savory flavors. Don't rush this part. It's all about patience and attention to detail. Take your spatula and start breaking up the pork into smaller pieces. The key here is to keep the pork moving. Stir, flip, and break it apart so that every piece gets its moment in the heat. As the pork starts to cook, you'll notice it beginning to change color, going from pink to a beautiful light brown. This is a good sign, but we're not done yet. We want every piece of pork to have a nice, even browning, so keep stirring and breaking it up. This process is called browning, and it's where a lot of the flavor develops. Those little brown bits that start to form on the bottom of the pan, those are pure flavor. They're called fond, and they're going to make our dish taste absolutely amazing. But we're not just cooking the pork here. We're layering in flavor with every step. Now that the pork is starting to brown, it's time to add some seasoning. First up, ground pepper. Now, pepper is one of those ingredients that's often overlooked, but when used correctly, it can add a whole new dimension to your dish. You want to be generous with the pepper because it's going to bring a subtle heat and a complexity that complements the richness of the pork. As you sprinkle it in, make sure to stir the pork well so every little piece gets a coating of that peppery goodness. Next, we're going to add a splash of fish sauce. Now, if you've never used fish sauce before, you might be thinking, why fish sauce in a pork dish? Let me tell you, fish sauce is a secret weapon in the kitchen. It's like a little bottle of umami, packed with that savory, mouth-watering flavor that makes everything taste better. When you add it to the pork, it not only seasons the meat, but also brings out the natural sweetness and depth of flavor in the pork. Just a splash is all you need, but that small amount will make a huge difference in the final dish. Now, let's talk about cooking the pork all the way through. This step is crucial because we want to make sure the pork is fully cooked, but we also want to develop those rich, deep flavors that come from browning. Keep the heat at a medium level and be patient. Let the pork cook slowly, stirring occasionally to ensure even cooking. You're looking for a nice, even browning across all the pieces, with some beautiful caramelized bits forming on the bottom of the pan. These caramelized bits are way. Now it's time to brighten things up with some vegetables. We're adding green peas, corn, and carrots. Not only do they add color, but they also bring a wonderful sweetness and crunch to the dish. Stir them in well, making sure they're evenly distributed throughout the pork. These vegetables are going to soak up all those delicious juices, adding even more flavor to every bite. Now we're going to cover the pan and let everything cook together on low heat for a few minutes. Now, let's add a little fun to our dish with some hot dog slices. These add a pop of flavor and a bit of chewiness that makes every bite interesting. Stir them in well and let them cook thoroughly. The hot dogs will soak up all those delicious juices and flavors, making them a perfect complement to the savory pork and sweet vegetables. This is where the dish really starts to come together. Every ingredient is adding its own unique flavor and texture, creating a dish that's not just delicious, but also fun to eat. Plus, who doesn't love a good hot dog in their meal? This is what comfort food is all about. Simple, delicious ingredients coming together to create something truly special. All right, culinary adventurers, we're about to enter a new phase in our cooking journey, transforming our already flavorful ground pork into a rich, hearty, and savory sauce that's going to coat every bite in deliciousness. This part of the recipe is where everything starts to come together. So let's dive in and create something truly spectacular. First, we're going to add half a glass of water to our sizzling pan. But this isn't just about adding moisture. No, it's about laying the foundation for a luscious sauce that will soak into every ingredient, amplifying the flavors we've built so far. As you pour the water into the pan, listen closely. The sizzling will soften, and you'll see steam rise as the liquid meets the hot surface. This steam is essential. It's helping to lift all those caramelized bits, the fond, from the bottom of the pan, ensuring that every last bit of flavor gets incorporated into our dish. Now, stir gently as the water starts to deglaze the pan. This is a critical step in developing the depth of flavor we want. Those little brown bits from the pork and vegetables are packed with concentrated flavor, and the water is working to dissolve them back into our sauce. As you stir, make sure to scrape the bottom of the pan with your spatula, lifting up those delicious bits and mixing them into the water. You'll notice the liquid in the pan starting to take on a beautiful golden brown hue. This is pure flavor, and it's going to give our sauce a rich, robust taste. Next up, it's time to add our tomato sauce. Now, tomato sauce is a game changer in this recipe. It's going to bring a sweet and tangy richness that will perfectly balance the savory notes from the pork and the umami from the fish sauce. As you pour the tomato sauce into the pan, watch how it mixes with the water, creating a vibrant red base that's already starting to look incredibly appetizing. But we're not just adding tomato sauce for color. Oh no, this is where the sauce begins to take shape. The acidity of the tomatoes is going to cut through the richness of the pork, creating a balanced flavor profile that's both hearty and refreshing. As you stir the tomato sauce into the pan, make sure it's fully combined with the water and pork. You want the sauce to coat every piece of meat, ensuring that each bite is bursting with flavor. And now, for a little secret weapon, the pork cube. This little cube is packed with concentrated pork flavor, and it's going to infuse our sauce with even more depth and richness. Drop the pork cube into the pan and watch as it begins to dissolve into the sauce. Stir it in well, making sure it's evenly distributed throughout the dish. The pork cube is going to enhance the meaty flavors, making the sauce taste like it's been simmering for hours, even though we're creating it in a fraction of the time. As the sauce simmers, you'll notice it starting to thicken. Once your bell pepper is sliced, add it to the pan. Stir it in gently, making sure the slices are fully submerged in the sauce. As the bell pepper cooks, it's going to release its natural sweetness, which will meld with the tanginess of the tomato sauce and the savory flavors of the pork. The aroma in the kitchen is absolutely mouthwatering. The rich, savory scent of our sauce, the subtle sweetness of the vegetables, and that irresistible hint of pepper all coming together in harmony. But as any seasoned cook knows, the key to an unforgettable dish is in the final touches. This is where we elevate our creation from delicious to extraordinary. Now it's time to do something I absolutely love, taste testing. This is the moment where we get to see if all our hard work has paid off. And trust me, you're going to want to do this. Grab a spoon and gently scoop up a bit of that sauce. Be sure to get a little bit of everything: a piece of pork, a sliver of bell pepper, and some of that luscious sauce. Blow on it slightly to cool it down, and then take that first glorious bite. Can you taste that? The flavors are dancing together. There's the rich, meaty depth from the pork, the subtle sweetness from the tomato sauce, and the freshness of the bell pepper cutting through the richness. But wait, there's something missing. Just a touch more sweetness to balance everything out perfectly. That's where our next ingredient comes in: sugar. We're going to add 3 tablespoons of sugar to our dish. Now I know what you're thinking. Sugar in a savory dish? Absolutely. Adding sugar isn't just about sweetness, it's about balance. The sugar will mellow out the acidity of the tomato sauce and enhance the natural sweetness of the vegetables, creating a harmonious blend of flavors that's incredibly satisfying. As you sprinkle the sugar into the pan, stir it in gently, letting it dissolve completely into the sauce. Watch as the sugar melts into the mixture, transforming the color of the sauce ever so slightly, giving it a subtle, glossy sheen. The sugar is going to work its magic, rounding out the flavors and adding a silky smoothness to the sauce that will make every bite more indulgent and satisfying. And now, for the grand finale, the boiled eggs. These aren't just an afterthought. They're a critical component of this dish, adding a rich, creamy texture that complements the other ingredients beautifully. But we're not just tossing them in. No, we're going to treat these eggs with the care they deserve. Let everything cook on low heat for just a few more minutes, allowing all those flavors to meld together perfectly. And that's it. Our boiled eggs and ground pork dish is ready. Take a moment to admire your handiwork. The dish is vibrant, flavorful, and absolutely delicious. It's ready to serve, and trust me, everyone is going to love it. Serve it up with some steamed rice, and you've got a meal that's comforting, satisfying, and full of flavor. Enjoy. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed making this incredible dish with us today. If you love this recipe, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, leave a comment below, and hit that subscribe button so you never miss another delicious recipe from Bistégs TV. And of course, share this video with your friends and family so they can enjoy it too. Thank you. Cheers.